the thing about drawing people is they have to be proportional. So I'm going to be using the 8 heads model to model the head to body proportions for a person. So we're going to start out by drawing a few heads. This just make an egg shape for the head, and that's about right. Just kind of like a egg. Doesn't need to be specific yet. We'll go ahead and give this one a vertical guideline. We'll split it vertically at the top, and then we'll put a line in the middle about where we want the eyes, and there we have our first head. Now I'm going to continue to draw these circles, and I'm going to use a ruler to do it because for the sake of looking professional and being consistent and just having things look nice, we're going to make it perfect. It's about 2.1, I'll say. 2.1 centimeters. I like to use centimeters myself. So whenever I measure proportions, I take out this ruler, my trusty ruler, and I make little tick marks to tell me where all the heads are supposed to go. And for the sake of this video, I don't usually draw all the heads, I just use the hash marks, but for the sake of this video and the viewers viewing it, I'm going to draw all the heads. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 6, and then we're going to make this character 7 heads, because in the 8 heads model, not everyone is actually 8 heads tall. Some people have bigger heads than others, and everyone's different, you know. So usually, but the generally accepted head to body proportions is 7 to 8 heads. So if you're used to drawing in the anime style or chibi, you might be used to drawing huge heads and small bodies. So if you're actually going to try and draw a realistic type looking person, or maybe even just realistic looking anime, you're going to have trouble. I guarantee it, because I did. So now that I have everything, oh, I forgot to mention guidelines. I know some artists don't use guidelines, but guidelines are very important, surprisingly, because they keep you consistent. How they do this is you draw basic shapes, and when you draw the basic shapes, you can be consistent, right? And this is important, especially if you're an illustrator or someone who draws the same character over and over in different positions, views, and stuff. So, yeah. And when you're doing this, once you've done this for a while, you may want to use a ruler at first, but when you do this for a while, you can kind of just eyeball it sometimes, and it'll look pretty good. But if you are questioning, or if someone else is questioning your proportions, you can always go out and measure the head and measure the body. Now, I'm gonna get to the last head. I'm such a perfectionist, but hey, I like art, and I like my things to look nice, you know? Who doesn't? So these heads are kinda, they're alright in length, but as for width, you know, you get the idea. So she'll be 7 heads high. That is the minimum you can do, pretty much. And now we're going to start on her shoulders. Alright? Now, how you do the shoulders. This line right here, double it. Just kind of like double it. So you just get about right here. And that's how far her shoulder is going to be. Do the same thing on the other side, and it's symmetrical. And basically, if we were really using the 8 heads model, it's actually going to be 2 vertical heads wide. So it's going to look, if you're using the heads model, it's going to look something like that. So her shoulders will come about right there. Her neck, will have it go down about 1/4 of a head. And you have to be careful with the neck. I don't know exactly how long it is supposed to be, but I usually just eyeball it. And then you can just draw these sloping shoulders like so. And now you've got the top half of the woman. Well, not the half, but the shoulders at least. Okay. And we're going to just draw her chest. Probably about a little bit wider than the outside head. Just eyeball that, and the chest is going to take up about 1 head. The rib cage. Okay, that's what I was talking about. The rib cage. Okay, the rib cage is going to take about a little over 1 head or so. And because the neck makes everything screwy, drawing people is hard. Don't get me wrong. I do not claim to be a master at drawing people. We'll bring her midsection down, and at about halfway down we'll reach her pubic area. Yeah, that's that thing. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Might want to get that a little lower. We'll draw a triangle to where it begins her hips. And now, when you're drawing girls or females, you want to make sure that the hips are of equal size to the chest or larger. If they're equal size, then that means she's an hourglass, or if they're bigger, it means she's a pear shape. And women come in many different shapes and sizes. But moving on, we'll go ahead, bring the outside of her figure. And the thing about women is they tend to have these nice, smooth curves, and I usually try to reflect that in my drawings. That's just the outside of the woman. And you notice I did not draw the arms fully. The reason is, when you're drawing the arms, you have to make sure that when you draw the humerus, it lines up with about here. I saw my laptop light go down. I was thinking, oh no. But anyways, your humerus actually lines up with the bottom of your rib cage. And then that's where the next arm goes. And then your forearm, you have to make sure your forearm is long enough so you can have your hand actually goes down to about right here to your thigh, about right there where that dot is. But it can be shorter. She'll have short arms because I'm evil like that. I mean like that. I will just kind of do a sort of triangle for her pelvis, so I kind of get an idea where the legs kind of curve in. Yeah, and when you're drawing her legs, I always like to start off with this triangle first to kind of get an idea where everything's at. Her pubes and where her legs come together. And a lot of times in the manga style, which is what I draw a lot, they'll kind of have him drawing pigeon-toed. I don't think I'll do that for this tutorial, but yeah. So if we count down, her legs are roughly 2 heads, or maybe 1.5. Her legs are like that. And we'll go ahead and draw the kneecap, which we will represent with a circle, and that will represent her kneecap. And then that kneecap will actually give us what we need to make her lower legs. So now we've got her lower legs. I don't know what you call that. They might be a bit big, but who cares? Women are all beautiful in their own way, especially in their personalities. And now we'll draw the feet. I actually have no idea how to draw feet. But as I looked at my own feet, I noticed that there's a bulge where your ankle is, and it just kind of spreads out. And if you're facing forward, it's kind of like that kind of shape. So I'm just going to mirror that on the other side. So now she has feet. And we'll go back and we will give her some arms. Alright. Give her some arms. I need to follow my own advice. I might have made the rib cage a little bit high, but I'm going to fix that. And a lot of this, when you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing a lot of fine-tuning, and it's going to take a lot of work. Drawing people is not easy. I know this. Everyone knows this. Okay. So then we'll just have her, we'll do the Da Vinci style or the anatomy book style where the hands would be facing out. So and when you do the arms, try not, if you're a guy, you might have a tendency to make them too big. I myself am guilty of that. So I'll kind of shave them down a little bit to make her a little less manly. She'd be a good, strong lady. Oh, I forgot to draw her breasts. Okay, but it's not the important thing. The important thing is actually to get the rib cage the same size as the hips. The boobs are just add-ons. You can, all you have to do is just do that. And when you're doing that, boobs have a tendency to point up. So if you're going to, they point basically. And I don't know if you've I've had girls tell me what they're like, and I've had help with that. Anyways, guys will have a bad tendency to exaggerate and make them bigger than they really are, which is disappointing, but I make a point to be as realistic as I can, even though I'm a cartoonist, which is kind of hypocrisy right there. Now, drawing the hands, I don't claim to be an expert at drawing hands, but here's how I do it. I start off by making like the palm shape of the hand, you know, and then I make the thumb. Now the thumb will probably get a lot of people. I understand the thumb is really weird, but if you've actually done some, I've actually looked at your thumb, my thumb, and there's about 2 joints, or 3 joints. One's where that ball is, the joint, there's a joint right in there, and there's another joint, and that's kind of curves in a way. It's really weird because it curves, and yeah, the second joint curves a little bit, and that is a thumb, magically. And we'll go ahead and draw the fingers. Now, the way I've heard of drawing fingers is that there's 3 joints, so you draw the 3 joints. And I like to draw all 4 of them so I know I have covered all my real estate, because sometimes I make the fingers too thin or too fat. So there, I've covered all my real estate, and the fingers have a tendency to curve a little bit. And these are obviously not perfect, but this is a quick drawing. And that's how you'd draw the... Excuse me, I have a call. I'll be back. Where is it? Okay, so basically what happened was I didn't turn on the movie and I continued drawing thinking I was teaching, but I wasn't. So what I did was I made this hand right, and I made the other hand just quickly without, you know, doing all the joint crap. And I was going to say that when you're drawing the thumb, the edge of the thumb should line up with the top of the meaty part of your hand, the palm, I guess you could call it. So, yeah. And now I went ahead and I drew the face. Basically, you would draw the eyes right around where the lines were, and then you would draw after you draw the eyes, which are just circles, and I understand that some people have trouble drawing the eyes at equal distance, so sometimes I would draw these little hash marks to kind of give me an idea where it was. I moved on and I went on to the ears, which are right here. Just going to mark that darker a little bit. And the ears are, the tops of the ears line up with the eyes, actually. It's just one of those things that helps you place stuff on the person. And then I made a little line for the nose right here. And went down about halfway and drew the mouth. And after that, another thing I was going to say is when you draw the nose, most anime styles, they just do the little triangle or whatever. There's so many different anime noses. Everyone's got their own different anime nose, or some people call it manga. There, I said it right. I used to say it manga, but yeah. So, what I was going to say was, you draw the nose curving in, and then you draw the bridge of the nose, and you can actually, the bridge of your nose is actually kind of connected to your eyebrow ridge, actually. So you can have that curve up, and then you'll have your eyebrow ridge, and then you'll have your eyebrows, and you can actually do shading in between if you want, if you're doing pencil. I'm going to go over this in pen when I'm finished. And then I just gave her a head of hair. And that's how you draw a female woman. I'm going to finish her off, and I'll put it into time lapse. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep drawing and then take pictures as I draw, and eventually it's going to come out looking really awesome.